Okay, let's get right into it. The big news, it's official. The Gold Cup 2025 final is set. United States versus Mexico.
The one everyone was waiting for, right?
Uh,
The absolute classic CONCACAF showdown.
exactly. It's the heavyweight clash we hoped for. And after a really dramatic semifinal night, these two giants, well, they've punched their tickets.
They certainly did. Wasn't straightforward for either of them, though.
No, definitely not. So for this deep dive, we're not just gonna, read out the scores. We want to break down the tactics, the key moments.
The breakout performances, too. Some really stood out.
Yeah, and those moments of just like individual brilliance that got both teams over the line and into Sunday's championship match.
Yeah, absolutely.
So our mission really is to give you the shortcut, all the important bits, the insights from the semis, so you're totally clued in on how we got to this massive final.
And what's really interesting, I think, isn't just that they won, but how they did it.
Yeah.
You saw both teams having to adapt under huge pressure.
Right.
And that tells us a lot, reveals tactical things, individual stories, stuff that will definitely play a part in the final itself.
Couldn't agree more. And that first semifinal, Mexico against Honduras, it really set the stage for the drama, didn't it?
It really did. Mexico won, Honduras 0 in Santa Clara. That game, it properly tested Mexico, pushed them hard.
So what was your immediate feeling after that one? It felt tense the whole way through.
Yeah, my first thought was, okay, this was gritty. It showed their resilience for sure, but it also maybe showed how much Mexico relied on, one specific moment.
That Jimenez goal.
Exactly. Raúl Jiménez, the veteran, his goal in the 50th minute, that was the difference maker. And it felt like a real redemption moment for him.
Because of that miss earlier, right? The header.
Oh, absolutely. Just before halftime, he had a free header, close range. I mean, textbook chance.
A sitter, basically.
Pretty much. And somehow, he managed to put it wide. You could almost hear the groan around the stadium. It was, agonizing.
I remember watching that thinking, oh no. It felt like a massive moment, lost not just for him, but for the whole team's momentum.
But football gives you second chances, right?
Yeah.
And just 5 minutes into the second half, boom, second chance taken.
Tell us about that setup. It wasn't just him, was it?
No, not at all. It was Gilberto Mora. The young midfielder looked really sharp. He played this perfectly weighted through ball, just sliced it right between the two Honduran center backs.
Pulled them out of position just enough.
Exactly. Created that little channel Jimenez needed. And this time, no hesitation. He buried it low, past Menjivar in goal. That was his 42nd international goal, I think.
Clinical finish when it mattered. But like you said, it also shows how one really good, incisive pass can just unlock a defense that looked pretty solid otherwise.
Definitely. So yeah, it wasn't just about Jimenez making amends. It showed Mora's creative spark, too. And even though they had another goal disallowed later for offside.
Right, that could have made it more comfortable.
It could have. But they still had to hold off that late surge from Honduras, who threw everything at them. So El Tri gets through, still on track to defend the title.
And that dynamic you mentioned, the veteran Jimenez benefiting from the young talent like Mora. That blend of experience and youth.
That's a key point, I think.
Yeah.
That interplay, that combination could be absolutely vital in the final, especially against a very different kind of challenge in the U.S. team.
Okay, so while Mexico relied on a veteran getting the job done, the U.S. semifinal kind of flipped the script, didn't it? It was the young guns stealing the headlines in St. Louis.
Yeah, totally different vibe. The U.S. taking on Guatemala, who, let's not forget, were flying high after shocking Canada.
Right, they had real momentum.
And you could tell the U.S. were determined not to be the next upset.
Yeah.
That game finished USA 2, Guatemala 1. And wow, it started fast.
Like a rocket, you said. What did you make of that U.S. performance, especially early on?
Just 4 minutes in, Diego Luna, 21 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Big rising star. He gets the opener.
How'd that one come about?
It was after Luca De La Torre had a shot. The keeper Navarro parried it, and Luna was just sharp. Followed it in, simple tap-in. But it shows good instincts, being in the right place.
Definitely. Predatory instincts, as they say. And then almost straight away, he does something even better.
Yeah, just 11 minutes later. So we're only in the 15th minute. Luna doubles the lead, and this one was special. A long-range shot.
Okay, break that one down.
Well, Malik Tillman played him a clever little pass. Luna takes a touch, looks up, and just launches this curling effort. It seemed like he caught Navarro, the keeper, maybe leaning a bit, expecting it far post.
A bit of deception. Smart.
Yeah, really smart. Showed great awareness for a young player. And that early brace, 2 goals so quick, it just completely set the tone. Put Guatemala right on the back foot from the start.
And that aggressive start, the high press maybe, that feels like a tactical clue for how Pochettino might set up for the final, perhaps?
Could be. It definitely shows they can come out firing. That brace really put the U.S. firmly in control. But credit to Guatemala.
They didn't just roll over.
Not at all. They fought back. Clawed one back in the 80th minute. Olger Escobar, another youngster, 19-year-old from CF Montreal.
Came off the bench and scored.
Yep. Clinical finish, actually. Cut the lead to 2-1. And suddenly it was game on again. Made for a very nervy finish.
Must have been a real nail-biter those last 10 minutes plus stoppage time.
Oh, absolutely. That goal, maybe it showed a little lapse from the U.S. defense late on, but Escobar took his chance brilliantly.
So the last stretch was intense.
Totally. Guatemala threw players forward, really went for it, but the U.S. defense, they just about managed to hold firm. Lots of clearances, midfield got stuck in, they shut the door, and ended Guatemala's really inspiring run.
So that brings us here, Sunday's final. USA versus Mexico, the ultimate CONCACAF battle. It really is the dream matchup everyone wanted.
It is. And if you zoom out a bit, you see Mexico, they want to defend that title, keep their status as, the regional top dogs.
Cement their dominance.
Right. And then you've got the USA, wanting to get back on top, especially under the new manager, Pochettino, who, by the way, is now just one win from a perfect debut tournament.
Which is pretty remarkable, isn't it, in such a short time?
Incredible achievement if he pulls it off.
So, yeah, expect fireworks on Sunday, emotions running high, probably plenty of drama. It feels like this Gold Cup has really delivered.
From Luna's brilliant brace, setting the U.S. on their way, to Jimenez finding that redemption goal to get Mexico through. Yeah, it's been compelling.
We're definitely on the edge of our seats for Sunday. Mexico looking to defend, the USA under Pochettino trying to, well, restore their own dominance.
Which brings us to a really interesting question, I think, for you listening as we look ahead to Sunday. We saw individual brilliance win the day in the semis. Luna, Jimenez.
Right, those decisive moments.
But we also saw both teams needing real collective strength, defensive grit to hold on at the end.
True, they both had to dig deep defensively.
So the question is, what's going to decide it on Sunday? Will it be another moment of individual magic, some heroics from one player? Or is it going to come down to which team is stronger, more organized collectively? Individual brilliance versus collective strength, what wins the Gold Cup?